Pozdrav svima, welcome back. Now this is Harley log from Finest Holds that client and I picked up, and it's a small log, but I think there is something interesting inside. We have a little crotch figure here, so let's see what I can get out of this. So let me just readjust the camera and we'll set off. Now, just before I start, there are other ways of safely cutting this small log, so please do not hang up on the method that I'm using here. So use the method that you are comfortable with. Use a sort of a sled if you want and stuff like that, but just make sure you are safe. So what I'm looking here is I have a lot of splits on each of the end grain portions here. This one has a massive crack here, and all of these were in the pictures that we chose. So I hope that when I remove, let's say, 2 inches from the end, I should be able to leave with a relatively crack-free timber. So let's see. A lot of splits here. Let's go more. Now I have it here, the crotch figure is holding it nice and firm. Still a lot of splits here. Need to go a little bit more. Okay, so now it's much less. We have a few bigger ones, one small here. Okay, so I have completely crack-free, at least from this end, all of this portion here. We have the pit here, but there's no cracks originating from the pit, which means it's quite stable. So all of this is crack-free. We can use this portion for a small spindle here as well. So I'll just do the other ends as well. And a lot of it here. Luckily, there are still few splits, big ones, at the outer edge, but I think when we get a little bit more inside, they will be gone. So again, I still have a lot of timber that is usable. Now I want to keep the crotch figure here separate, maybe. And maybe get a blank like so. So I'll keep it on this flat side down like so, and see, I have a pit here. It's a pit here, so it's out of alignment, and on this end I have one pit here. Okay, we have a nice clear timber, nice figure, a little bark inclusion here. here. There are a few under the bark, big splits. They don't go all the way through, although there is a smaller one here. But I have a pit here, but none on this side, so Alright, so this is what I've got from that small log. So I have two crotch sections here, and there are a few splits left here, but I think they don't go all the way in, we'll see. And I have two spindle blanks and one, let's call it ball blank, but we'll see what will come up from that. So I'll choose one and we're just going to turn it, and I just want to see how it turns and how it looks. So okay, so what I've done is just drill a hole here in the middle for the screw chuck, and I'll just put a little spacer just in case. Now it's nice to be back on this lathe for a little bit, and it has much heavier spindle. There we go, so that's nice and tight on. It's not a flat top, so it's a little bit different. I think, and there is a sort of a bark inclusion here as well, but I'm just going to leave the shape as it is. I might maybe sand it a little bit to make it a little bit more pleasant, but for now I'm just going to leave it as it is. So that's 1200 RPM, spindle gouge. Now from drilling a hole in for the screw chuck, it did seem like a really dense timber, so I'm looking forward to see how it works. So I'm just going to stop here for a second. Right, so far so good. I might leave this, we'll see how it goes. So I could use a smaller tenon here. Maybe make a OG shape. This is that big split here. Still a lot of bark left here. I think I'll try to remove it as much as I can. So the foot needs to go. It will be slightly smaller. Okay, so that's not too bad, a little bit more, and that should be enough of the diameter for the foot. Maybe this one. Or maybe slightly bigger one. has a characteristic smell. Okay, I think the size of the foot, this is a little bit more proportioned, let's say. I'm going to leave this, maybe just clean it up with a carving tool or something, but I need to remove here where the foot is, doesn't look right. A little bit more and then it's done. Can spin it a bit faster now. 1500, or actually 1600 RPM. Here we have this sort of bark inclusion here, which I could fill with CA glue and coffee ground, but we'll see. I'll just scrape this to see how it works. So refiner, and let's see how it scrapes. Oh, that feels super nice. Now, I had a few questions asking about this notch here, what it does, and it's so we can get, let's say if I have a bead here, I could scrape it into that corner of that bead if I remove some more of this notch here. But also it serves as a nice sharp point, so to make a decorations like this. So nice and simple. And again, I can go into the corner of this decoration because there is a relief here that can allow you to go inside. So that feels super nice. I'll just see if I have the chuck for this kind of a, oh, I have. So I'll set that in with the spindle gouge. Like so. And now I can start scraping again. Wow, that's, I mean, that doesn't need any sanding at all, so that's really nice. Now I think I'm going to leave this as a feature on this kind of a odd looking shape thing, so I'm just going to round this foot over. I think on this particular piece looks better if it's rounded over. So spindle gouge, smaller one. Okay, that's quite good. And just clean up the very corner here. And we'll sand it. So here where are the air and wood, I'm going to use this pad. Just fill first some of this area here, which will be sanded anyway, so okay, so that's looking really nice. I mean, this timber works so beautifully. So let's see what we're going to do from the other side. So this will go on this VM120 chuck, and it's just the right fit, so that's good. And now I have on this side slightly thinner rim than on this side, so I'm just going to have to be aware of that. So first cut with the ball gouge will be this way. Now it needs sharpening. So freshly sharpened ball gouge. So I'll stop here just a second to see what's happening. It's quite tough stuff, dense and hard, so we have this split here, which is unfortunate, and this bark inclusion go on both sides, a little bit bigger on this side. Let's see what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to thin it down a little bit more so it's an even thickness here, or close to that thickness. Let's see what's now happening. Okay, we'll need to fill this from this side as well. Okay, bark came off, so I think I'm going to sand away this bark portion here, just to round over some of these rough edges a little bit, not too much, but for the most part this is a little natural piece, let's say. Refiner. Now there was a bang here. Yeah, that's gone. The bark here There's a big hole here, so that's now quite, I would say, compromised. So I'll skip the scraper, go with the gouge. Stand to one side. Just to see what's happening, that it's not structurally, yeah, it's still okay. So just a bummer for this hole here. I think I might thin it down, but then it will be really thin here. We'll see. It feels nice, good thickness. Just too bad for this hole here, but I think I'm going to fill it with coffee grounds. But I need to take care of this here a little bit. So first I'm just going to make the bottom nice and smooth curve. Okay, so that's nice and clean. Yeah, that's ready for sanding. So now what's left is fill this big crack here, and just see what I'll do with these edges here where the bark is left. Well, now there is none, so a little bit of bark left here, but first I'm going to fill everything and I'm just going to tune you in when I'm done with sanding. So majority of the sanding is done, so what I'll do is just with I think this is 320, I'll just soften the edges a little bit so they are not sharp. Alright, so I signed the bottom, signs beautifully as pretty much any timber that it's closed grain and nice and dense like this one. So let's see how this, now this is Woodturning oil from Steinert. I have it in video description, so if you want to check it out, it's a really nice oil with the wax in it. So I think it's based on linseed oil if I'm not mistaken. So look at this, really lovely. Not much usual green that you see in a crotch, but there is some of the figure, a little bit of here. But it's nice subtle timber, and it's not as white as I thought it might be. Holly, it's usually really white, so perhaps it's due to different species of holly. So today you saw a slightly different turning than I usually do, but again it was odd shape and I thought it would be a little bit unnecessary to cut it in a circle, so I just kept it like this. A little nut ball or some cookies or something like that. So I'll just let it sit for a few minutes, wipe away excess oil, and then I'll show you how it looks after it's dry. Alright, so now we can inspect once I've wiped away the oil. So a really lovely timber. I really enjoyed working with this one. It has a different smell. It's not unpleasant or anything. It's a nice smell. I won't say it's like gorgeous to smell, but it's a decent smell, especially after I turn a box for the client from Zebrano timber. So that thing just stinks. It works beautifully, but it stinks. But this one works beautifully and it smells okay. So yeah, really nice timber and a really nice simple plate. And again, I left, since it's a regular piece, I left irregularity in it, defects and so on, and just to fill them. This one is a bit structural, let's say, but I managed to fill it from this side, so it did stabilize a little bit. And as you saw, I didn't go back to this area once I've cut it down to this area here. So this just sand it after and fill it with CA glue. So all in all, really nice simple plate for nuts or something like that.